Hi everyone, it's Cards by Rachel for the stamp shop using Pretty Pink Posh today for cat cracking on Christmas. Here you can see two example cards I made of camera, so you have an idea of what we'll be using today and making. It will not be the same two cards we'll be making, but it will be similar. Here I'm using the Winter Words stencil. As you can see there on the background, I did it with gold paste. We'll be using the Winter Foliage stencil and the candy cane stencil, all from Pretty Pink Posh. Here you can see I used it there on the background onto the fox card. And then we'll be adding the Christmas holder editions die, the winter foliage die. Let me have a look. The dog holder, the fox holder, the bear holder, and the penguin holder die. I think that is all. I used a lot. This is a WaffleFlower stamp set. Now we will be starting with the winter foliage stencil, which is a 3-layer stencil. I first grabbed the brown ink to do the branches and the pine cones here. And I love a good stencil review, you guys. Layered stencils are so fun. Like every stencil you do, it gets more beautiful when you pull it off. Absolutely love that. For the cards we'll be making, this one will be in the more traditional Christmas colors, like the red, the green, and the gold we'll be using. And the other one will be more of pastel colored. I absolutely love using different colors than the traditional one for Christmas cards. So I went 50-50 again. 2 in the traditional colors and 2 in the pastel colors. Now for our last layer, this is a 3-layered stencil. We will be using cherry, which is a beautiful red ink, and I'm gonna use it on white berries. And then I'm also, wait, let's first enjoy this peel off. There we go. How pretty is that? Then I'm gonna use what's left of my brush and ink it up a little bit if needed, and go around it with my red there too. I don't know, just add a little bit more of the red. I thought it would be very pretty. Then I'm grabbing the winter word stencil and some gold paste, and I'm just gonna place that on top of our winter foliage petal. I love a good word stencil. Like Pretty Pink Posh has them for almost every holiday or occasion, season you can think of. And I love adding some extra texture with these like word stencils by using paste or I also always love a white base for this actually, and it just gives your background an extra little detail that I think is very cool. And now I am gonna use a craft paper as my card base, and I'm gonna use a pink ink for the candy canes here. I thought I would do both backgrounds first because especially the paste needs to dry, so I thought we would be wise to start with that first. And this is a 2-layered stencil, this candy cane one. Here I'm gonna use the details with a white pigment ink, and when using pigment inks I love to use like ink dauber instead of a brush. I feel like that just applies better, but you could definitely play around with that. And I'm just gonna dab that on here and give those candy canes that fun 2-color detail basically. Oh, I cannot wait for the reveal. I always love stencil reveals. Okay, there we go. How cute is that? And I love using craft as my card base sometimes instead of a white. Here I'm using some white splatters onto the card base and actually also onto a lot of the greenery and poinsettia flowers we will be using on our cards. I think it's always nice for winter and Christmas cards to add a bit of that like snowy texture to it. Here I got a card base that's 5.5 by 4.25, and I'm gonna attach a pink, pretty light pink cardstock to it because I do want to have like a border on my cards for this one. And then this panel I cut to 4 by 5.25, so we actually have that 1/4-inch border there. How cute! And for the pastel one, I went with the cute little bear holder today. As I said, I also put in on the foliage and accessories from other die sets, so they are listed below in the description box in the comments, you guys. And here I'm just gonna assemble our cute little bear holder. The holder die options from Pretty Pink Posh are definitely one of my favorite dies. They have such cute critters with this and a lot of add-ons, so you can actually give accessory to those critters, which makes this whole collection of holder dies so versatile. You can use it all year around nowadays, and I just absolutely love that. Last time I used this bear, I did it on some Easter card together with the chick holder, and I did a brown bear then. So I was thinking I would do a gray one now, so you can also really play around with the colors used on these holder dies. So I think they are just adorable. Here I'm adding that little nose, and it's cute. Wait till it has all the Christmas accessories, you guys. Absolutely love it. As you can see, maybe in my little thing there where I put my die cuts in, I use some vellum as well for some of my greenery. Sometimes I like to do that if I don't want to bring in another color. I always like some foliage on my card, well, often, but sometimes you don't want to bring in another green color, because I feel this sage green works really well with our like gray and pink color combination, but I wasn't feeling like a darker green for it. So then I tend to grab my vellum and actually die cut some foliage from that, so you don't add another color. I did the same on those other Christmas cards that I just showed you off camera. I laid everything out where I wanted it to go. I find that the most easy when you're working with so many different die cuts and so many different elements, that you lay it out first and then start attaching everything, so you have a bit of a feel like what should be attached first and what should be popped up, and yeah, I just prefer that. And now you can still move it around until you are happy with it, instead of, oh no, I would have wanted this leaf there and that there. Now you can just have a little play. Vellum, of course, does not like liquid glue, so I'm trying to hide my glue. Like for that leaf there, I put the glue behind the bear's ear, basically, on my vellum piece, so it will be hidden. You don't need to add glue to all of that, of the vellum leaves. I mean, as long as they're secure on some of it, it will stay on your card. So that definitely makes it a little bit more easy. And by easy, I mean more easy to like cover up your adhesive on your vellum pieces. For our second card, I will not be showing the assembly because it will be very similar to this one, with the foliage and the pancetta flowers and stuff. The only thing I did a little bit different is that I kept the foliage more of the bottom part of the card and less on the upside, on the up part of the card. I will show how to assemble the cute little penguin holder, although these holder dies are definitely quite easy to figure out. There's not a lot of small pieces or things that have to go behind or in front like with some die sets, but I thought I would show the penguin because it's different than the bear, of course. But for the foliage and assembly, I will skip that because I thought it would be very repetitive to see it for both cards. I'm using a combination of liquid glue and foam tape as always. I like to add some dimension by using my foam tape. So just on the pieces that will be in front of the bear, for example, I will use my foam tape to make it stand out a little bit more. And also for the sentiment, that gives it a nice spot to stick in some of the foliage pieces and cover up the part where they end, basically. Especially my two pastel cards will have a lot of these flowers, foliage, snowflakes, all the things. As you can see, the other ones, like I said before, will have it a bit more centered towards the bottom of our card. So you can do this as full or as empty as you would like it to be, basically, just depending on your card making style, of course. I'm using my beloved white highlight to add some details to the bear and all our leaves and flowers, all the good stuff. What I like to do with die cut cards that have critters, when I remember, because sometimes I tend to forget, but I like to add some glossy accents to the eyes and the nose and stuff, like give them a little bit of shine. It's just a liquid that dries transparent. and then gives it a little bit of shine. So I always think that is a very nice touch. And of course, my beloved starter stickles that I like to add to my cards when I'm feeling glittery. And because we used the snowflakes in some glitter paper, I thought it would be fun to also add some glitter to all the greenery pieces right here. And I think that will be it for this card, you guys. Yeah, there we go. Here you can see the fox one and the bear one next to each other. The one for the fox we used white as a base, and here we used the craft. Here you can see I also put our first ink blended panel onto a standard size card base, so we have a little bit of that orange again. And now I'm using that white glitter paper for the base of our penguin, actually, because you know I love me some glittery and shiny stuff, so thought it would be cute. And then he is holding like this cute little red Christmas ornament. That's what I mean with all the add-ons for this. You can really customize it to any theme or season you would like to create for. And of course, a cute little Santa hat. That's adorable, right? And then you have some separate die pieces for its feet, the nose, and the eyes. You can also use some flat back pearls for the eyes. I tend to do that sometimes as well. Or just use the die cut pieces like I have for these four. I tend to switch around between that. Sometimes I'm feeling the pearl flat backs and sometimes I'm feeling the black cardstock for it. Oh, isn't he adorable? I really love all the holder dies. If you have some of the Pretty Pink Posh holder dies yourself, please let me know what your favorite critter is. I'm very curious. I must say I have a weakness for foxes, so definitely the fox and maybe the bear. You can see for these ones I centered the foliage a little bit more on the bottom. Here you'll see some close-ups of pictures of all the 4 cards I have made for this cracking on Christmas with Pretty Pink Posh, and of course a video showing a little bit more details. Thank you all for taking the time to watch my video, and be sure to like, subscribe and comment if you want to see more Pretty Pink Posh, the stamp stop, scrap diva designs, videos and lives, because I do lives as well, you guys. So thanks all for watching and have a very crafty day. Bye bye.